Applied Linguistics Group uploaded this video. This group is for helping students of BS, MS, MPhil, and PhD in English Linguistics, Applied Linguistics TEFL, TESOL, TOEFL and IELTS students. Dr. Khalid Malik is the founder of Applied Linguistics Group's youtube.com/@1966 Pakistani. Dr. Khalid Malik has a PhD in Applied Linguistics TESOL. He published more than 25 research papers. He taught a lot of foreign universities and admitted to a postdoctoral study project in Canada. Help others easily find Applied Linguistics Group by copying or downloading a QR code to join. Product-oriented syllabus, process-oriented syllabuses. The teacher needs a syllabus as a guideline to help in teaching learning activities in order to achieve success in learning process. According to Hutchinson and Waters 1987, a syllabus is a document which says what will or at least what should be learned. Noonan 2004, 27 says that syllabus is a basis plan courses of various kinds. He also presents two kinds of syllabus which are a product-oriented syllabus. Product-oriented syllabus focuses on the knowledge and skills which learners should gain as a result of instruction. Noonan, 2004, 27. Their several syllabuses belong to product-oriented syllabus as follow. 1. Grammatical syllabuses. Here, syllabus input is selected and graded according to grammatical notions of simplicity and complexity. Grammatical syllabuses introduced one item at a time and required mastery of that item before moving on to the text. It seems to be the language consists of a finite set of rules which can be combined in various ways to make meaning. Functional notional syllabuses. In general, function may be defined as the communicative purposes for which we use language. And notion is the conceptual meanings, objects, entities, state of affairs, logical relationship, and so on expressed through language. 3. Analytic syllabuses. In Noonan's book, Wilkins 1975, 13 says that analytic syllabuses are organized in terms of the purposes for which people are learning language and the kinds of language performance that are necessary to meet those purposes. 4. Synthetic syllabuses. In synthetic syllabus, the different parts of language are taught separately and step by step so that acquisition is a process of gradual accumulation of parts until the whole structure of language has been built. The product-oriented approach to writing instruction. The traditional product approach perceives writing as a product of combinations of lexical and syntactic forms and good writing as the demonstration of knowledge of these forms and of the rules used to create texts. Highland, 2003a, p4. Product-oriented teachers focus on formal accuracy and correctness at either a sentence or paragraph levels. Silver, 1990. They teach formal aspects of written texts such as vocabulary, grammar, cohesion, coherence, rhetorical organization, relevance of ideas to topic and so on and so forth. They regard writing as an extension of grammar, a means of reinforcing language patterns through habit formation and testing learners' ability to produce well-formed sentences. Highland, 2003a, p3. To this end, student writers are required to imitate and adhere to specific models as White, 1988, demonstrated in the following figure. Figure 1. A model-based approach to teaching writing. White, 1988, p5. A model remains an important teaching tool by which students are taught the structure of good and coherent paragraphs, the different argument modes, such as cause and effect, comparison and contrast, classification, exemplification and so on and so forth, and discourse modes, namely, description, narration, persuasion and exposition. Highland, 2003a, Silver, 1990. Since the product-oriented approach to teaching writing is form and language focused as well as model-based, this approach was put under heavy fire. First, it is true that grammatical structures and lexical patterns are crucial for SL/FL writers, but writing is obviously not only these things. Highland, 2003a, p6. Many FL students can form correct sentences and yet cannot write appropriate extended texts. Highland, 2003a. Second, This approach overemphasizes the composed product and gives no insights into the route writers go through to develop that final product, that is to say the composing process. Flower and Hayes, 1977. B. Process-oriented syllabuses. Based on Noonan 2004, 40 process-oriented syllabuses emphasize the student's experience in learning activities. He also explains about 3 kinds of process-oriented syllabus, which are: 1. Procedural syllabuses. This syllabus is organized around tasks, rather than in terms of grammar and vocabulary. Moreover, the syllabus consists of the specification of the tasks and activities that the students will engage in class. 2. Task-based syllabuses. Task-based syllabus is similar to procedural syllabus that is organized around tasks. Richard, Platt, and Weber 1985, 289, in Noonan's book 2004, 45, present that a task is an activity or action which is carried out as the result of processing or understanding language. The task can be real-world tasks and pedagogic tasks that the students are required to carry out in the classroom. The process-oriented approach to writing. Instruction. Flower and Hayes, 1981, Cognitive Writing Model. Flower and Hayes, 1981. Cognitive writing model is the most cited and most influential process model in the fields of education and psychology. Graham, 2006. According to Flower and Hayes, 1981, writing involves the interaction between 3 important elements, namely the task environment, the writer's long-term memory, and the writing processes, as summarized in Figure 2. Task environment refers to those variables that are outside the writer's skin. Flower and Hayes, 1981, p. 369, specifically the rhetorical problem and the growing text. The rhetorical problem, or simply a school assignment, describes the topic, the rhetorical situation, and the audience, which constrain writers while writing and enable them solve the problem successfully and respond to the writing assignment efficiently. As writers attempt to solve the rhetorical problem by writing, the task environment's second component emerges and starts exerting a great influence on writers' decisions. It is the growing written text itself, since each word in the growing text determines and limits the choices of what can come next. Flower and Hayes, 1981, p. 371. To deal with the rhetorical problem in the light of the exigencies of the growing written text, writers rely on their long-term memory, in which they have stored knowledge, not only of the topic, but of the audience and of various writing plans. Flower and Hayes, 1981, p. 369. Figure 2. Flower and Hayes Cognitive Process Model. Flower and Hayes, 1981, p. 370. The third element in Flower and Hayes, 1981, model is about writing processes of planning, translating, and reviewing, which are controlled by a monitor, the master process that enables writers track their current process and progress. Hayes, 2012. While planning, writers try to guide themselves on how to proceed in their composing process, setting their goals and purposes, generating ideas and relevant information, and making a preliminary outline about the organization of their writing. This outline remains subject to constant change throughout the writing process when need arises. After putting an elementary plan, writers move to the second process, translating, in which they start tackling the first draft. In this process, they concentrate on getting ideas down on paper, without bothering themselves with the accuracy of expression. Finally, reviewing takes place. In this process, writers rewrite their first drafts in order to refine their writing by making the necessary changes or modifications. They reconsider the objectives and purposes set previously at the planning stage and rethink about the topic and the audience, the rhetorical problem, paying attention to both fluency and accuracy. However, we do not need to define revision as a unique stage in composing, but as thinking process that can occur at any time a writer chooses to evaluate or revise his text or his plans. Flower and Hayes, 1981, p. 376, leading him to constant planning and reconsideration of what he wants to say. Obviously, these writing processes do not occur in a linear fashion. Instead, they are characterized by simultaneity and interdependence. Flower and Hayes, 1981, Harris et al., 2009. His planning, translating, reviewing framework proposed by Flower and Hayes, 1981, remained the most widely accepted and adopted process writing model by second language, L2, writing teachers, Highland, 2003a. Throughout all the stages of process writing classroom activities, the teacher's role is to guide students in the areas in which they need help, provide them with feedback, focus on what students do while writing, and may address students' weaknesses at the end of the writing session. This process-oriented model has also come under fire for its exclusive focus on writing processes. According to critics, this inductive method in teaching writing is not appropriate for all students. Horowitz, 1986. Teachers do not provide students with clear directives and an explicit instruction of the structure of the different target texts, leaving them on their own to discover appropriate forms while writing, drawing on their growing experience of repetition and on suggestions in the margins of their drafts. Highland, 2003b, p19. After all, students are judged on their products regardless of the process they apply to reach them, and these products that are based on specific codes of a certain culture are more easily produced when the instructions of how to produce them are explicit. Delpit, 1988. FL learners, therefore, find themselves held accountable for knowing a set of rules about which no one has ever directly informed them. Delpit, 1988. p287, which may have serious consequences on their writing outcomes. As such, process writing approach fails to prepare learners for academic writing and, responding to the students rather than to the students' writing, it gives them a false impression of how academic writing is evaluated. Horowitz, 1986. Teaching students writing skills such as planning, revising, and editing is important, but it is not enough. To overcome these shortcomings, Flower and Hayes, 1981, process writing model was revised. After several years of empirical research and drawing on other writing researchers' work and theories, Hayes, 2012, published a new version of the 1980s writing model, in which he responded to both critiques of the original model and to new ideas. Applied Linguistics Group uploaded this video for helping students of BS, MS, MPhil, and PhD in English Linguistics, Applied Linguistics TEFL, TESOL, TOEFL and IELTS students. Dr. Khalid Malik is the founder of Applied Linguistics Group. youtube.com/@1966 Pakistani. Dr. Khalid Malik has a PhD in Applied Linguistics TESOL. He published more than 25 research papers. He taught a lot of foreign universities and admitted to a postdoctoral study project in Canada. Help others easily find Applied Linguistics Group by copying or downloading a QR code to join.